If alcohol is accepted as a tool to fabring, why not marijuana?
This is a question that it's not for me to answer, and I'm really not going to answer it. There's a tshuva from the Moshe about marijuana. But I'm going to retort with a surprise, which really isn't a surprise. It's not a question of why we use marijuana instead of mashke, it's why we're still using mashke. The Rebbe didn't want it. Yidden in Russia said l'chaim. That tradition carried over from Russia to America. In the earlier years, the Rebbe himself said l'chaim, but at a certain point, the Rebbe didn't want people saying l'chaim, and he certainly did not want people getting shikhet. He made it very clear. I don't know how many things in all the years of the Rebbe's Nesias the Rebbe gave as much attention to as drinking mashke. In other words, we have a problem. And the problem is we're living in a generation of ahava without yireh. The love part of Judaism, the positive part of Judaism, the embracing part of Judaism we love. But for Judaism to be Gedusha, not Klipa, it can't be only Chesed. You know that in the Chumash, the word Chesed is used for Gili Aroyas, for adultery. Because when you have one midah, just Ahava, just Chesed, just love, that's where it leads. Our culture is so averse, is so allergic to Yira, to Gvura, to discipline, to know, to anything that has to do with strength. There's no balance. And this lack of balance exists by us, not just by Lubavitch, but by probably all from a Yidden, certainly most from a Yidden, as much as we try to shelter ourselves and cloister ourselves, the world is very open, whether we like it or not. And the symptom of this is there's no Yiras Hashem. Rak ein Yiras Elokim b'makom hazeh. There's Avas Hashem, and there's Avas HaTeirah, and there's Avas HaMitzvah, there's no Yiras Hashem. You can't be a Yid with Ava alone, because the Ahava alone leads to all kinds of prikasol and all kinds of taiva. And one of the symptoms of that, a very strong symptom, is we see what mashke does. The question is full of prikasol. I don't know who's asking the question. I don't know why he's asking the question. But the question reflects a desire to increase something that is by us a problem. And it's symptomatic of the fact that we are affected by the world in which we live. This idea that we're going to make Yiddishkeit more fun. Yiddishkeit is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be joyous, and nobody underscored that more than the Rebbe. But the Rebbe also set rules, and we ignore them. We just plain simple ignore anything the Rebbe introduced that has to do with discipline and personal responsibility and hard work. We just forgot. So mashke we drink by fabringen. The fact that the Rebbe didn't want young people, and young by the Rebbe meant till 40, drinking more than 4 l'chaims and getting shikhet. And the fact of life is that it's always the young people getting drunk. And when young people get drunk, it's very ugly. It's not like when chassidim get drunk, and certainly when wise people get drunk and you see wisdom and beauty, you see ugliness and anger and intolerance and violence. So now we want to find another way to experience this and include it in the paradigm of chassidus, because chassidim say l'chaim. So my answer to the question, why don't chassidim use marijuana at fabringen, is with the question, why don't we cancel mashke? Cancel it. We don't need it. It's the damage that it does is so much more than the good. It's not necessary. The Rebbe didn't want it. And the Rebbe means it. The Rebbe really means it, because he understands our culture. It's a culture with no boundaries. It's a culture with no gvura and no yireh. And all you need in a person who, as it is, doesn't have discipline and is like I said, he's allergic, he's averse to any kind of criticism or containment or self-control, is give him alcohol, because it just exacerbates this one pole. And like I said earlier, I'm repeating it again, when you have chesed without gevura, it's gili aroyes, it's not Yiddishkeit. It's not. And the truth be told, even in yesteryear, it wasn't like all the chassidim were big drinkers. There were different types. There's a famous story that they tell about the Friedrich Rebbe, that there were two elder chassidim in Lubavitch. I think it was Reb Hendel and the Rashbatz, who every week would lock themselves in a basement in Fabrengen. And the whole Fabrengen consisted of a little tiny bottle of mashka, a sotke, which is like a pint or even less. And they'd fill up 2 glasses, they'd sit and look at each other and cry all night. And in the morning they put the mashka back, they didn't even drink it. The priority of mashka at a Fabrengen in general misses the point. The point is the Fabrengen, and the Fabrengen is supposed to motivate good actions, which include Yiras Shamayim. Yiras Shamayim being particular about Torah mitzvahs.